Okay. Let's do something. We got a little window here. Get some work in. Now here's a question. Didn't I ink this? Did I not save that? Let's look. Let's look and see. Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, there it is. Having so many complex illustrations laid out together in a single file makes just for a very... It's a little bit of a morass of organization at this point, and I wonder if a different approach is warranted. Big, massive stuff. What do I feel like drawing? I'm not really sure. Could be fun to get some work done on this one. Just advance the ball today, just a little bit. We got a couple hours. We can get a lot done. I want my efforts, if I can, to be fairly evenly distributed. I'll go like this. Fairly evenly distributed throughout the project. The big reason for that is because this is a project that's taking place in my spare time. There are... Let's see, what happens with me is I have a tendency to evolve my style and my approach measurably over distances of time. So that if, let's say, I focused all of my efforts instead of distributively, just start and finishing a single piece one at a time, what would happen is, and I know this from experience, is that the first image I draw would use radically different styles and techniques compared to the last image that I drew. They might even almost look like they were done by different artists, like they'd have almost a different hand to them. And I don't want that to be the case, because that's not intentional, and I want this to be representative of, I don't know, a unified approach. So the way I'm doing that is sort of getting around that is by not leaving behind the forcing it to all sort of evolve as a group, which is impossible, you know, to do it in. It's impossible to do it perfectly, but if I can, what I want to do is not have a finished piece fully existing while other pieces towards the end of the pipeline are sort of languishing a bit. I'd like, if possible, to have basically all my line art done before I really take these. And maybe I can break it up into chunks. Maybe I just treat it like, of course, there's 24 pieces that we're trying to finish here. Maybe I just treat these 12 as a section so that this doesn't take forever. But so that is to say that I would not finish the first images over here. These guys, like these two, they look the most done. They're far from done, but they look the most done in the group. I don't want to do much with them until I've got line art basically done over here towards the back end of the group. And so you can see we've still got a long ways to go. And I've certainly hopped around, drawing what I feel. And today we won't go too long. This will be, I'll stop at 1:15. So we've basically 2 hours from now. Not 1:15, 1:05. Basically 2 hours from now. Or less than. Excellent. Okay. I'm trying to train my computer not to open up the Finder or the Chrome browser in my main screen, so I don't accidentally dox myself or anything. Let's see here. We need the old Zelda wiki. There we go. Bring this on down. And I apologize, I have allergies. It's been taking a bite out of my energy and my resolve, and makes me sound like I'm underwater, at least in my own head. Let's see here. Wallmaster. So this giant hand is the Wallmaster. This is some sort of gross version. We need the artwork of the original Wallmaster, which is this. Cool. Do a little screeny shot. Different renditions. Gross disembodied hand. Awesome. It's a fun, imperfect triangle, if I ever saw one. Oh. That's neat. Okay, well, I'll keep this up as a courtesy reference for the audience. I'll reference this over here. And looking at this original rough sketch, I'm happy to say it looks like I did a pretty good job. Even just to start. So that's cool. I believe I can ink directly over this, and I should be able to ink directly over this background statue as well. It's definitely true that by the time I was roughing out these sketches down here, I had a much better workflow than when I was starting out. Sort of becoming more at ease with the process, at ease with streaming with an audience, and or no one looking at all and it not mattering. Okay, I'm gonna... Right now, the highly finished line work of Link here is distracting, so I'm gonna turn off most of that. So he doesn't feel so substantial. And let's lock off some of these layers. I really don't want to make any mistakes like I did last time where I was drawing on the wrong layer. What an embarrassment. Not drawing with black. We can work up to black if we need to. Got some lovely lag. Always lovely. That usually goes away. Yeah, if I just turn that off. Why it comes back is a mystery sometimes. But some of my brushes are more susceptible to it than others. Hi, Lolly. Yes, Satan was well received by Satan himself, but good morning. Yes, yes. The important thing is that we've learned from the exchange that some things will hit better for a broader audience. Is it fair? It's the subject. It's the subject itself. More appealing to... Let's not attempt to typify your average Redditor. lest we delve into stereotypes, but picture of a cute girl probably gets more clicks even from girls than a picture of a swarthy, handsome fellow, even a well-posed and, you know, ostensibly photogenic one. So, good to know. And you never know, like, what if it did twice the numbers of the cute girls? You know, you never know. But we did it. We tried it. Hate to say it. Probably your typical male viewer is not going to be too surprising with their interest like that. But we will definitely do more of those later. Think right now, because I'm still sort of in the soft launch phase of all this stuff, and kind of want to get a few more ducks in a row first. Like, I have a website that I want to post an update to, because I haven't posted an update in almost 3 years, and I could stand to do that, where I maybe post some recent samples, also talk about some things I'm up to these days in terms of doing things differently. And basically that includes sort of like, and I'm now streaming, so here's a link to my streaming. Just so it all sort of like, if someone starts Googling me, they might see things that are a little bit more cohesive. Like, it feels like this is not... I don't intend for this project to be a one-off type of thing. I want it to last a long time. It's been something I've been discussing with my wife, is something that we can make theoretically into a soft landing as far as like an artist at their end of the career, starting now though. So, you know, hopefully I have a good many years ahead of me doing the storyboarding stuff. But eventually, if and when I age out, I also want this as sort of a backup plan where, if I can, cultivate an audience, preferably with people younger than myself, so that it feels like there are options for me to spin off a little bit more demand with an informal sort of educational setting / experience edutainment that can course, so I can coast off my fading good looks and skills, and until those are finally gone at some point down the road. Today I'm not busy with work. Not yet, at least. Anything could change, but... yeah, interesting. Well, there's no way for me to explain why there's lag on that brush today, but we don't need to make it the end of the world. Just continue. Lolly, did you see that Mirage sketch I did? It's in the VOD. I meant to, I realize I don't have a method for me to, like, email it to you directly. Although I suppose you... After I did all my Reddit drawings, I hopped right back on and did a Mirage sketch. Here, I'll pull it up. Streams. Here we go. Okay, this isn't perfect. It's not perfect, but don't be upset. Literally nobody saw it. It says, "To Lolly, you the real kill leader." And I hope that's the right context. Okay, good. Well, one way or another, I'll figure out some way to email it to you, Or take a quick screenshot right here. I'll make it super big. Whoa, where'd it go? I had like... Fuck me. I had like 20 minutes or something to bang it out before whatever next was happening that day. Probably just me having to go get my kids, but that was it. So anyway, that's a small token of my appreciation for your support and companionship on this fun venture. I'm glad you love it. I'm glad you love it. I had fun drawing it. I thought I had it in my head for about, like, obviously it's not the world's most sophisticated piece of art, but it is I had it sort of in my head pretty much instantaneously when I was trying to think of something. Like, oh, what would Mirage do? I'm like, okay. I hope this... You know, it's a shame because I got out of it, but, you know, they more or less went away without me, but I got out of Apex right about the time I was starting to, like, even understand the project, and of course that's the way it goes, but I was pleased to see that my muscle memory had not completely faded, and I was able to competently do it a little justice. The whole thing is on the VOD if you check it out. Here. Not that we have to look at it, but just to make sure it's there. I want these things to not pop up on the main screen. Let's see here. Twitch.
Oh my God, I'm nervous.
Whoa. Pause that. I don't want to hear anybody's crap. Let's see here. Where's my channel? Oh shit, that's me. Oh shit, that's me. I'm like laughing in echo. Oh wow, it keeps going. Oh wow, it keeps going. Oh wow, it really does keep going. Oh wow, it really does keep going. Oh wow, it really does keep going. This is trippy. This is trippy. You would think that this would like crash. You would think that this would like the computer or something like that. Yeah, here we are. Endless me. Endless me. You're welcome, world. Alright, let's not do this anymore. Alright. Shrink. Shrink to irrelevance. It's cute. I'm like a Twitch child. I have no idea what's going on. It's cute. I'm like a Twitch child. Okay, that echo is driving me nuts. Where's my VODs, yo? Alright, well, I don't need to have all that up, but that's sort of interesting. You click on my thing, you don't see all this stuff. That's a little weird. Shouldn't that be all be visible? Or does it just default to showing me the, Is it because this is me? These are funny. This is bad stream, I know. Okay, well here's all the recent broadcasts. Yeah, I did this God, 4 days ago? Feels like yesterday. Here's the stream. you doing, Miraji? What's funny is this is like a pose that I do. This is the pose that I do that I used to do. Oh yeah, like I don't know how I'm so like what do I do? I need to like figure out how to turn on dark mode and stuff. So like when back in the day I would go to the studio, or I'd go to a studio I haven't been to in a long time, or there'd be a freelancer that I had met like maybe a year before, but then I forget their name. But like we were like, oh yeah, we're buddies and stuff, but I forget your name because I haven't seen you in forever. I do that. This guy right here, you know, like, oh yeah, this guy, love it, you know, kind of you guy, you, oh you. Settings. Who has time? All right. So, you check it out. I'm not sure I do much but flex my drawing skills, but you might be curious. Lolly, so you don't have to disclose on stream. My email address is my name plus Gmail. So my name is Max Forward, so just spell that out, put it in a Gmail. If you send me your email address in an email, basically, then I can send that attachment to you. And also, you can send me the, if you have a picture reference of your daughter, I'll draw that for you too. So go ahead and think about that, do that if you want to, and that is something that can happen. Hage, what's up, man? There was no stream this morning. I was very sleepy from getting up early yesterday and working early. I was lucky to have a gig. Today I have nothing, so I did a bunch of chores. Got all the machines running, dishwasher, laundry machine. Watch that. That was a big drawing day for me. Did all that Reddit shit, and then I drew the devil, drew Lucifer. That was quite the dramatic stream with the program crashing out and getting rescued halfway through. And then jumping right back in to do a quick mirage there. So I'm kind of autopiloting this this drawing right now. This is not how I'm trying to approach the project, where like inadvertently, because I'm not thinking about it too critically, in this instance, I've been shading as I go. You can tell, like, we've got, like, this isn't all just line work, like I've been doing on a lot of these images. This is including a lot of sort of form shading. And that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just really focus on lines. So it's bad of me to do that. But now, I guess the reason I'm doing that is because I'm still a little unsure of this. My finger anatomy isn't perfect, so it's a bit of a crutch for me to sort of think of it more sculpturally. And this helps, I think. But if I'm making errors, then I'm making big ones, and that won't help me later on, but that's okay. Maybe it's just this first couple knuckles will allow that mistake to stand, and then I can course correct a little bit here. And it is a little bit like How in the hell do you determine where the, like, all the wrinkle, like, this stuff, like the, like, overlapping, underlapping, you know, it's kind of arbitrary. Kind of like, I know I'm super muscular, but even on my tight-fitting shirts, these, wrinkles, you know, they'll naturally fall one way, but if you shake it out, they can naturally fall an entirely different way. Both are valid. That's what I mean by arbitrary. It's the same thing with wrinkles. They generally form around these patterns, but they don't have to be right or wrong. So I kind of go with my gut a lot on that stuff. If it looks good, try not to make a big deal about it. Hage, weren't you streaming 2 seconds ago? I thought I saw your name on my my listy list. Cool. All right. My work prospects this week are not great. What day is it? It's Tuesday. Yeah. Ugh, last week was death. So the holidays really throw off productions in general, in terms of, like, they're treated as like these sort of arbitrary point of no return sometimes on a lot of projects. Like executives love to see and approve creative decisions right before they go on long holidays with no sign of ever coming back to, you know, kind of thing. So there were a lot of important deadlines that I had to hit before Memorial Day, which was last week, or, you know, before. But what happens is, as a freelancer, those days, those are major interruptions, basically, in a pipeline where artists are getting booked and or not booked. And projects definitely want to, if they can, avoid paying holiday rates for artists or anybody. So it's a big rush to get stuff done before then, and then afterwards, it's like nothing is needed for what feels like a long time. Can be that way. And I've had some nibbles of real work, but not really much landing. Phalanges, yeah. Do you ever look at Bridgman Hage, the anatomist, the artist, Bridgman, from 100 years ago or something. He literally wrote the book on drawing hands a long time ago, and very influential. Hands and then veins, and the veins I'm no crazy expert in. But I know sometimes they can overlap. Run like rivers. Lots of information and like a tightly knuckled up. Well, I don't have a lot of muscle in my hands, but weird, my right hand is so much more muscular than my left. Bridgman, yeah, that might be the spelling. Here, let me pull this up to show everybody my... Yeah. Now the problem is you'll get a lot of people copying Bridgman, and then it gets put up like it is Bridgman. For instance, these are studies of Bridgman. Almost all of these front page hits are not Bridgman himself, but Bridgman studies that other artists have done. Now these are competent. This is good stuff. This looks more like it. This looks like actual Bridgman, but is it? And look, it's spelled Bridgman, but without an E. Oh, we have a new chatter, Madam Hellfire. Welcome. The left finger was a male torso and butt. Ah. Right, if you squint. There's not much, I thought you're, I mean, unless you're heavily referencing your images, I think you have a natural intuition then about your proportions and your figures. It's very, like, I'll concede only that your style is a little raw, but not that your drawings need more study. It feels like it's sort of fleshed out. Your expression as an artist is really great. Hi, Ham. Yeah, I guess I'm not being too... Everybody's fingers are a little different. Nobody's fingers are gonna line up all the same way. Figure like most of this is close enough, and then... I don't know. Here, this is the wrong... Is that about right? This will not be a dunk on Max for making artistic mistakes. Stream. Only praise. Only praise is accepted. No. I do trust my eye enough so that if something is off, I'll notice it eventually. Like, seriously, like, this needs to get fixed kind of a thing. Served me well enough thus far. We all have different flexibility. Some of us are, interestingly, born with an atypical amount of ligaments and muscles in our hands. It's not all the same. And then even if they are the normal amount, the expression or the way that it reads at the surface level on the skin, vastly different. And Bridgman, the artist in question we were talking about with the hands, great, amazing hands, no doubt. But my hands don't look like that. I don't know anybody's who does. So I think we just treat this like a great opportunity for expression. And learning. Like with the hand impacting, I want even a little bit of like a pushback. So we have a sense that there's a stretch and compression here. Maybe even some wrinkling. To get a strong sense of that. As long as it looks good. The old decaying flesh of this giant hand could look it might realistically respond like cloth drapery, like thinking like skin as drapery. Ugh. But on a really old person or a really wrinkled form, like a Shar-Pei. What do you mean about... Oh, the claw, yeah. The claw, if I'm understanding Hage's reference, is from the Jim Carrey, who must be double jointed in every bone in his body, from what I've seen. Had this highly expressive... well, of course, it's his real hand, but it is acting as if puppeted. And as expressive as animated by some sort of CG team, coming up to scare his children in that movie. What was it? Liar, Liar? Such a fun movie. Jim Carrey is like a masterclass in animation, you know? I love him too. Sort of. I love to ape his antics sometimes. It's sort of embodies that sort of cool nerd. And I'm of the age where, you know, I saw, you know, being whatever, 12, 13 years old, whatever. I might have been 11 when I saw Ace Ventura or The Mask. Like, all that came out in the same fucking year. It's like insane. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, Boxer will tell you we had The Mask on Laserdisc. We had Ace Ventura, and yeah, absolutely, those movies were on repeat. I can practically quote them, start to finish. So now, I don't know if this can stand. I need to do a better job of making this a little bit more something. You know, does it go like this? I mean, maybe it didn't need anything, but... It's anybody's guess how all that goes. Just want it to look like it means business. And eventually we'll dirty it up with all these cool, like, scratches and nicks and laid bits of skin. That can come later. Quick save. We're gonna go for another hour from now. 105 is it's my hard out, as they say. At that point, I gotta run and pick up the squids from the school. They're in this fun phase right now where, well, one of my kids is in preschool, so they don't have homework, but I have a first grader, and they give her ungodly amounts of homework. And of course, it's another chore that me or my wife has to help with. Or on Tuesdays, we go to my parents' house, and I have my dad help her with homework while I work. So today we're going over there, where I might see Boxer if he gets home early enough. And we'll probably all go swimming and have a good time. It's summer. That'll be fun. There's no homework this week because school is almost out. So it's like I don't have homework. It's like I'm celebrating. The weird math thing. I guess, so they're not calling it Common Core, because I guess that triggers people our age. Like it's new math or something like that. So the things that are challenging and frustrating because they're not how as we learned them when we were younger are opportunities for us to practice a little patience and reflection as to whether or not we were learning them properly to begin with. And I have a feeling that, among other things, the way they teach math now has a lot to do with setting them up in a way that fosters a deeper understanding of the relationships of numbers as expressions of the same things, and not this answer is the right answer when you lay it out like this. Sort of understanding that 12 is a relationship between place digits and tens and ones and, you know, different kinds of things. I appreciate that it is, I think, setting her up to understand fractions a lot better when they get to it later on. Yeah, they are not doing them a disservice, I don't think. I think that what they're doing is better in the long run, so that I think they might have an understanding of how this works out long term, as long as it's consistent, like in their schooling system, and at her school it will be. Because I did great in math up until the concept of fractions rolled around, and then I did very bad in math for a while, until the teacher sat me down, and in a couple of days I finally caught up to it. But I think there was something about the sort of rote memorizations, because I went to a private school where, you know, they had all the fancy materials, and so we just learned with flashcards, multiplication and division, and it was all just sort of this rote like I memorized it really quickly visually. But fractions rolled around, and like I missed a couple of days, and everybody else felt like it was like light years ahead of me, and I didn't understand it. So it took a while for me to like catch up. And this is just my anecdotal experience with the stuff. Right. Finance people, here's how I know my kids will be fine is anytime they get like money, they're like really good at counting it. Like they'll get like money as and like birthday cards and stuff, and they squirrel it away and they like count it and they like love it. I'm like, okay, kids will be fine. There's this great series, Number Blocks, that's on Netflix that is extremely well done and very well, like I'm impressed by the way it teaches math, and the kids will just watch it just because it's fun. But it's definitely done a great job of introducing a lot of abstract concepts. And yeah, education did not peak in the 80s and 90s. It kept going, and it's improving. So I'm filled with hope. Filled with hope. Damn, those are some knuckles. They be knuckling. It almost looks like you could draw like a torso of a guy. Here's the abs. Belly button. Beaks, and then, you know, here's his little some knees. Here's your Hage. Here's your bathroom doodle. Oh fuck! Did I just draw that on my? Oh shit! Yeah, I drew that on the layer. I think I can rescue that later by splicing the two layers later, but I couldn't help myself draw something ridiculous. Let's see here. Do myself a favor and fix it now. Sorry, people, I'm not above puerile forms of entertainment. Yeah, okay, looks like I can. No one should come here for an elevating experience. We just mess around. Okay. There we go. Mostly fine. Gotta watch out for that. Gonna draw something silly, do it on a different layer. Okay. The rest of these digits might very well give me a hard time because you know, the first two fingers have a lot in common, but the other two sort of need different treatments. They're falling away in perspective in a way that if I'm going to make some mistakes, it's definitely going to be over here. Luckily, Link is gonna be blocking most of what I draw. So I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Creature in the screen above looks like Pain from Hercules. This one? Oh yeah. What is it? Pain and Panic? The Bobcat Goldthwait character. Yeah. We can look at these for a second. Yeah, looks like a butt shot. Butt shot of this chubby fellow. Mm-hmm. Boy, talk about a distinctive voice. That Bobcat Goldthwait. Like, who can talk like that? Who can even imitate it? Ugh, man. We're grabbing your lugubriousness. My daughter loves that film now. She's like super into watching old Disney. You know, it's like, boy, growing up now, kids have no filter on the whole library of the universe of entertainment. There's just everything. And so much of the best Disney stuff was done decades and decades ago, so there's so much cool stuff. They're starting to finally realize it's like, oh, there's just an endless well of entertainment options. We don't have to just keep watching the same show every day. I'm like, yeah, pick a different effing show. Yeah. So they'll stumble upon stuff that is new to them, but classic to me. Hercules is good. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite, but certainly has some great moments. Yeah, well, like those are great characters, and you know, some amazing performances. Sometimes it's like I may have not liked the film simply because it came out at such an awkward age for me, where like I probably didn't like life in general. Weirdly, and not because anything bad was happening. It's just like I was such like a disaffected, angsty teenager. So that anything that was good was just like, oh, so cringe. Kiki also loves the soundtracks. As my daughter's name is Kiki. I'm really happy they really love Nightmare Before Christmas, for instance. So there are some titles we know the whole family can get behind. You did film projects on Nightmare? Like, what do you mean? Like, do you, like, video essays or something? Like, that's an amazing movie. Just analyze it to death. It just holds up so well. It's a great example of just instant classic. And another good example of movies my brother and I had on Laserdisc and watched on endless repeat. Yeah, it doesn't look, his hand isn't looking that bad. Scanning for dropped frames. None yet. Okay, that's good. I was talking with Lolly, not talking, but chatting with Lolly earlier. Yeah. Something about my 20s is just very elusive in my brain. Couldn't have anything to do with all the weed I was smoking, I'm sure. Only because some of the audience, including you, Ham, were here for the Reddit drawing stuff. The Lucifer, you know, I drew Satan the other day and put it on Reddit, and it was well received by the model, but from where I was tracking, like how many people saw it. Well, I can't tell how many people saw it, but the amount of people that likely clicked through on the link that I posted on Reddit and watched the actual drawing of it was far fewer than it was for the lovely mushroom fairy, etc. So while we will definitely do more drawing randos on Reddit, we will probably next time go back to the low-hanging fruit of just whatever cute girl is at hand. I have some theories, some things I might try about it, but try differently. It was a good experiment and a great result with the drawing. Yeah, turns out basic user base of Reddit is not well, call them what they are. We're gonna catch them with some thirst traps instead of you know. We'll get him with some clickbaits. Now, whether or not like any of that like translates to any kind, like, would people who post on Reddit and click, you know, somewhat, I mean, it's not clickbait, but it is something where, you know, sure, it's views. Do I want that audience? It's like, it's not that clear, but it's a fun experiment to see. But that's not the validation that I'm kind of looking for. I do hope that the people who, besides appealing to for general purposes, eventually I'd like this sort of format to be something that feels like artists come here to learn things. I know that I learn things just by doing this. It's been interesting for me to reflect recently about how streaming has altered my mood in regards to well, I had a very let's not count our chickens before they're hatched necessarily, but I've been objectively drinking a lot less, and that might be multifactorial. But I expect the one of the main causes is just the stream is a better habit for me to work out some angsty issues I didn't really quite know that I was going through. Yeah, I was reminded the other day there will be probably a double-edged sword if I extend too much into the pool of Reddit. I might try a couple more experiments just to see how they go through. And then another idea I had was, you know, I could post a couple of these images when they're done, or at least close to being done, in like a Zelda form or a Zelda Reddit. And you know, because I want people who are interested in Zelda to be interested in this. But then again, I'm like, okay, it'd be a bunch of toxic weirdos that I don't, you know, just hope everybody behaves themselves. I'd rather be ignored than truly introduce disruptive elements. Like if this stream was like you 5 people for the rest of my life, I'd be fine with it. I definitely this is enough for me to learn, enjoy what I'm doing, practice lecturing, and have something to show for it at the end of the day. This is plenty. Okay, now I'm gonna... Okay, so, I mean, that's a decent hand. I gotta be honest. I think I did a decent job with it. Let's flop it, see if anything jumps out. I mean, there's definitely, like... I think my fingers definitely feel like they curve. It's all just like a fun, weird sense of perspective on the wrong thing. You know, close enough. If there's other major issues, I'll find them. I'll see them over time, but I think this looks cool. Not bad for freehand. Set this back where it was. Okay, and the other element that I want to draw is this really fun fire-spewing statue here in the background. Such a crazy design. Statue. Here they are. Tiny pixels. Well, now I wonder, is there art of the statue? No? Okay. Ham, did you get that bit of statistic off something specific to Reddit broadly, or was that the statistic of the Draw Me Reddit? Because I'd be interested in two things: the statistics for the Draw Me Reddit and the statistics for the like Zelda r slash Zelda. Okay, here's this guy. And I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily crucial information. Lolly, what are you referring to? What is this? This statue is what I'm planning on drawing next. It's this thing. The page I'm on? Oh, this is the Zelda wiki. nothing I can take credit for. Yeah, this has been more or less indispensable as a encyclopedia of... it's a much more ready at hand, sort of informed... you, the audience, can get a sense of why I can justify bringing in a little bit more of my own interpretation and imagination to these things that, as a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, you know, we look at this and not sophisticated, but at their time they were amazing. And, you know, what they represented in my head is something I'm trying to see if I can capture. Ooh, I should do a Zora eventually. That'd be cool. Tech tights. Yeah. All these great things. Levers. They're all on deck. It's all gonna come up. Alright, let's see here. Here we are. Okay, so we can kind of see, like, these were statues that would shoot fireballs at Link when he would walk by in the first Zelda. And this is that, you know, with no other way to know. Just sort of went with it, but in the sober light of day, I definitely still like what I came up with here, so let's just ink it and have it be something we finish down the road. Now it's a statue, so it doesn't, and it's supposed to be an old statue, so it doesn't have to look perfect. But I want it to look symmetrical if possible. Fire shoots out from it like it's a trap. Reddit charges you to get them, yeah. Reddit, as a microcosm of the internet in decline, is a little... it's not without its controversies. And I was not... sort of a funny thing. I was watching the... it was like a whatever on YouTube. It was like how that terrible that leak of all those celebrity nudes on Reddit basically simultaneously exploded the site in terms of like people finally realizing it existed, but also more or less spelling the downfall of the site for its original user base. I guess, you know, that's when Reddit sort of jumped the shark, as someone said, and then decided it would try to be more like a normal social media like Facebook and stuff like that. So people who were using it to do all sorts of terrible things, and I suppose people still do use it to do terrible things, but it did open up to the broader world a sort of sense of like, hey, this is a platform that I can use to post things that I might want to post. Yeah. But like that experience, it makes sense to me sort of explains away why they changed rules for the, I don't know, the way that developers produced their third-party plugins, and then the moderators had their stupid thing that happened, and then, you know, I'm sure down the road something similar will happen to Twitch, you know. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But I'm trying to hedge a little bit when I do these streams. I download them, archive them on my hard drive, and then I've been uploading them to YouTube. Already on our way to the downfall of Twitch. Well, you know, if anything, I'm here to cement that downfall, because I only get interested in things when they're well on their way out the door of coolness. So yeah, I'm here to symbolize the downfall. It's just human nature, I guess. Yeah, hot tubs and stuff, yeah. Well. I'm trying to not do the wrong thing. Tempting though it is to strip off my clothes and parade naked in front of the camera, that will not be on the menu for a while. Right now, what's happening is, at least in my artistic circles, the question of what's to be done about all of our data getting scanned. As professional artists, you know, we've come to sort of have this symbiotic relationship with these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., to post our art and put out our samples, our talents out there to the broader audience. And for that trust, we've been rewarded by companies deciding that they're going to scan and absorb our artistic outputs into their AI generators and put us all out of work. Or try to, at least. And there's been a bunch of discussion about jumping to that platform Kara, whatever it is, as an alternative. And I'm mulling it over somewhat. Of course, trying it out a new platform is an interesting thing to think about, but I feel like I'd rather, instead of focusing time on that, focus time on this instead. And I'm not sure if there is a real solution to the whole stealing, wholesale theft of artists' hard work and livelihoods. There may be some sort of law can be passed that will intervene. I talked to my dad about it. Not that he's a super genius about this sort of stuff. He's well past his time in his creative career, but, or at least in terms of like dealing with these problems. But he encouraged me just to bravely, if anything, share more of what I do and not turtle up, not get too defensive. And so part of this Twitch project is me trying to do that. Show more, but differently. It's not just more art, but the process of the art. And hopefully, even though I know they can scan video now into AI, hopefully something about it will be a little more prohibitive. And I'm not just hastening my own downfall. What do you mean your panels take longer? Oh. Is it because you're streaming it, or do you feel like that helps you? You're thinking about it too much. That could definitely be a factor. The speed at which I draw on this stream is glacial compared to how I draw in real life. This would not be an acceptable pace for a real-world job that I would be on. One day in the future, we'll do the real-time max speed, which is a different approach, far less detail, far less. And I'm really just talking about in terms of like how I would draw something for a storyboard, not necessarily a comic book. But these I'm considering what I'm doing here as something that appeals to a broader audience, not just to creative directors and producers, but someone who I want them to be appealing to people who don't necessarily look at rough artwork all day long or interpret storyboards for a living. Your average layperson, not involved in the industry. I want them to see something that doesn't confuse them. So having non-professionals in the audience, which I'm very grateful, is helpful for that, making sure that what I'm drawing isn't super confusing for everybody to look at. And where it is, I want to know about it. I feel like drawing on stream has me drawing more than I would normally draw, and having a little bit more, forcing myself to explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it has me sort of doing more self-examination as to, well, why am I doing that? And I'm definitely drawing a lot more than I would normally do during what I would consider downtime. Pompous egos? Probably. I think definitely I get the sense that in like film and television that there's a lot of egos. I think there's a lot of that. But that's not really where I tend to work. In commercials, there's such a fast pace that the pace of advertising, at least as at the production level, at the agency level, huge egos, very toxic environments. Agencies like working with like big brands like Coca-Cola can I don't know. Oh. Luckily, I'm not really in those circles anymore. I'm really more at like the execution level where they're trying to figure out how the commercial gets made, and those companies hire me. And that's more of like a more practical, okay, like pragmatic, okay, let's analyze this and figure out how to execute this vision kind of approach. And it's far less, there's no nepotism that I've been able to detect at that level. Because I feel like egos and like nepotism and all that stuff is just like a cover-up for incompetence and anxiety. Where it might be. So luckily I don't feel like I've had like I always consider like my clients are great. They're just great. I don't typically have negative experiences in my work, thankfully. corrections or impressions. But that might be not the norm. I don't know if that answers your question, but in commercials, there's just not enough layers of protection to... There's not enough layers of protection to absorb the delegation of responsibility. Like, the people who hire me and who are responsible for directing and being responsible for the product, like, they're in it. Like my directors work hard. They are definitely not phoning it in. They are extremely involved in like every bit of decision making. So if something isn't successful, it's pretty much on them, and they know that. They can't just be like, oh, well, this person effed up and I'm protected or whatever. It's gonna be their ass, and they have to prove themselves every time. And there just aren't the timelines. I mean, you're gonna find out whether or not... I mean, a bad director will have a very short career. A bad storyboard artist, theoretically, will have a very short career. You have very few opportunities and second chances to prove yourself in commercial production, because on a commercial there's one storyboard artist. So if the storyboards didn't look good, it was you. It was that guy. On a movie, if the storyboards are problematic, there could be a department of storyboard artists that have this sort of diffusion of responsibility. There's opportunities, I believe, to hide in that. And I wouldn't put the blame for bad storyboards on bad storyboard artists, but a director might blame storyboard artists, and it might be difficult to hide where that specific problem was. And I'm just speculating. You know, I haven't worked on films. I don't work in television, so nope. It's just advertising and video game trailers and stuff like that. And speaking of which, I should comment something in a second. The other day it was brought to my attention that one of my trailers is out. It's not mine, it's a project I worked on. So we can take a look at that maybe in a second. Funny pedestal design. I don't even know what I'm doing right here. That's kind of cool, but I might change my mind about it later. Mostly just drawing on autopilot. But that's a fun way to be creative, is just see what your hand does. Here, hand. Here's a stylus. Here's a very nebulous rough drawing. See what happens when you trace it. I don't know if I like my drawing better than the original. It'll look badass once I light it properly and add cool things, but I think I was getting a little too granular with some of this stuff. Got a little flattened out. We won't have enough time to redraw it now, but I might do that later. Just draw that better. At home, people might be saying, might be thinking it's perfectly good. But I'm not so sure. I might just tweak a few things. In this original sketch, there's this fun, like this sweep of the lower lip. And here, I've just introduced all these dynamics to it that I don't know if any of that helps. Maybe, maybe not. This one feels more animated somehow. Of course, I drew it in like 10 seconds. That helps. And it's full of errors, which brings life to it. Well, if nothing else, I'm just going to quickly add more of this. As maybe a mental note for later. And I don't even know what any of that is, but making it feel taller. More interesting. A lot of ancient art wouldn't have, like, they would really stylize their forms. So a lot of these like smaller secondary forms are working against that sense of structure. Just losing elegance somehow, even if it's a grotesque form. You know, you gotta honor the gods. Maybe that's enough. Alright, I don't know if anybody's looking, but this could be cool to round up the last couple minutes of the stream. I will find the trailer for this cool, hang on. Okay, so we'll bring this down. Theater mode. Ruh, ruh. I practice my Jim Carrey's. Oh man, I've got all that like a strong sense of the platysma tissue. Of course, now it makes me look old, but yeah, Jim Carrey's showing his age. He looks a little bit like that, like a balloon that got a little stretched out. Okay, so this is a trailer that debuted recently. So I'll play it, and then we can talk about what comes next. So this is for a new Batman VR game that's coming out. Only for MetaQuest. So June 7th, it looks like more stuff will come out. Yeah. Batman. Yes. There is another trailer that, since it says June 7th, I would expect that in between now and June 7th, there will be another longer trailer that I also storyboarded. And that one is a bigger and more... Yeah, Hercules. We were talking about Hercules earlier. Talking about how these guys over here, one of them, basically they look like Panic. Or no, Pain. The little demon from this guy. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, there's my alarm. So anyway, probably, if not next stream, then the next stream or the next stream, we'll see the next Batman trailer that comes out because I storyboarded it. It's cool. I can't show storyboards for the projects that I work on until I'm in most cases I wait like nearly 10 years to show stuff, just because part of what I do is keep my damn mouth shut about projects. I can tell people that I worked on it, but I can't say much beyond that. When all dust settles, some of those earlier Apex projects I'm fine showing boards for, but like not so much the recent stuff. And so that applies to the Batman too, but it's still a fun thing to see something debut. And I did get a sneak peek at it. I know it looks good. I know we don't care about. I know we love Zelda. We love Zelda only on this. They could certainly have cause to sue me if I leaked anything. Most of the boilerplate NDAs I sign are more like, don't do it without our knowledge. But what they have is an informal policy on the side where wait at least 6 months for vendors can't put anything on their reel, and I would qualify as a vendor. Can't put anything on their reel until 6 months after something debuts. And if not, and if you're supposed to keep your mouth shut forever, they should pay you more. I like to not bother people with questions, so I just wait until. If you wait even just 5 years, half these companies go out of business, and then there's nobody left to sue you. That's happened a few times in my experience. So it's just a little bit of patience, but it's still a fun thing for me to see that kind of stuff, and so we'll maybe look at that. But yeah, it's been a fun, much busier stream than I expected or deserve, but I appreciate people coming out for it, and we'll do more later, but probably not today, maybe early tomorrow morning. I've got to be on daddy duty for the foreseeable rest of the day, so let's all sue Ham. It's her fault. All right, everybody, you have great days, do good things, and make good choices. And I will see you on the next one. Alrighty.